Good afternoon, boys and girls. So today we are looking at math. So you should have this book out. And in a minute, I'm going to have you flip it open, but you don't need to yet. We're just going to talk about it. Today we are going to be talking about time to the hour. So how you can tell time when it's right on the hour. So you can see I've got my little clock here. Whenever time is to the hour, I guess I don't need this anymore. Whenever time is to the hour, so right o'clock, right on the hour, you're going to have, on every clock, you have a big hand, a longer hand, which is your minute hand, and a small hand, a shorter hand, which is your hour hand. So this blue hand is longer. You can see it's a little bit taller than this red hand. Make sure that's right on the 10. This blue hand is taller than this red hand. So this is my minute hand, and this is my hour hand. When time is to the hour, so when it's right on the hour, my minute hand or my long hand is going to be pointing straight up and down at the 12. So as you can see right now, I have this hand right on the number 12. So I know that it's time to the hour. From there, I look at my smaller hand, my red hand, to see what number this hand is pointing at. So right now, I see it's pointing at the number 10. Which tells me that this clock shows 10 o'clock because my short hand is right on the 10 and my tall hand is right on the 12. So you guys can go ahead and open your books to page 591, and we're going to do this page together. And then after we do this page is your homework page. I want you guys to do that on your own, and then we'll grade it on Thursday when we do math again. So let's look at page 591. On page 591, I have 8 clocks there, and I have to find out what time all of them say. So the first one, number 5, shows this time. I see on number 5 that my minute hand or my longer hand is pointing straight up at the number 12, and I see my smaller hand or my hour hand pointing to the number 1. So try to figure out what time this clock is showing, and then I'll tell you. And if you look, even the hands on that clock are red and blue, just like this one. So since this one is pointing straight at the number 1, this clock is showing us 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. I've got it right on the 12 and right on the 1, which means that this clock shows 1 o'clock. I'm going to do the first 4 with you guys. I'm going to have you do the last 4 on your own, and then we'll do the back together. All right, let's look at number 6. Number 6 looks like this. So number 6, same thing. All of these times are going to be right to the hour. So you'll see that all of them, in every single picture, the blue hand is pointing straight at the number 12. And in this one, my red hand is pointing at the number 8. So that tells you that this clock is showing 8 o'clock. So on that little line there, you can write the number 8. That says 8 o'clock is what this time is showing. So same thing, number 7. As always, when telling time to the hour, my big hand is on the 12. And take a look at where my little hand or my red hand is pointing. Take a look at what number that's pointing to, and that's going to tell you what number or what time it is. I see that my little hand or my red hand is pointing to the number 4, and that tells me that right now this clock is showing 4 o'clock. So on that line, you can go ahead and write the number 4. I wanted to do number 8 with you before I let you do the rest of them on your own, because number 8 is kind of tricky. Okay. You can see my red hand is kind of hidden there. My red hand is hidden. It's behind my blue hand. So in this one, my blue hand and my red hand are pointing straight up at the number 12. Since we know that my red hand tells us what time it is, and it's pointing at the number 12, then this clock is showing us 12 o'clock. It's right exactly. Whenever it's 12 o'clock, both hands are pointing straight up at the number 12. That one can be kind of tricky because sometimes it's hard to see that red hand back there, but it is showing us 12 o'clock. I want you to go ahead and do 9, 10, 11, and 12 on your own. Pause the video right here so that you can complete that, and when you're done, go ahead and unpause it because I'm going to go on to the back. So on the back, I flipped my page, so now I'm at the top of page 592, and I'm looking at that story problem. It says, it's number 13. I'm going to read it out loud to you. It says, Ava gets home at 3 o'clock. So this is the time that Ava got home. You can see my big hand is pointing at the 12, and my little hand is pointing at the 3. Ava got home at 3 o'clock. This is the time. Evan gets home exactly 1 hour later. So in 1 hour, Evan's going to get home. So we have to figure out what time Evan got home. Ava got home at 3, and Evan gets home in an hour. So right now my hand is pointing straight up at the 12. You might notice that as it goes in a circle around the clock, you see how that red hand is moving? As I move this one, that red hand moves. So if this is 3 o'clock, 1 hour is my blue hand, or my big hand, goes all the way around this circle, back up to the 12. That's been 1 hour. And if you noticed, my red hand moved from the 3 down to the 4. So we were up here. I'll show you one more time. We were up here. It was 3 o'clock. That's when Ava got home. 1 hour, which is all the way around the circle, 1 hour later, Evan got home. So what time did Evan get home? You can see your little hand is pointing here at the 4. Evan got home at 4 o'clock. So go ahead and write 4 o'clock on the line. And then there's a blank clock there. They want you to draw this. So draw. I'm going to turn this lamp on because it's kind of dark. Oops. Oh, I'm dropping things in the process. There we go. So draw your taller hand, your minute hand, pointing straight up at the 12. And draw your shorter hand or your hour hand pointing at the 4, because that shows 4 o'clock, and that's what time Evan got home. Okay, now I'm going to read us number 14. Number 14 says, Roger begins reading his book at 7 o'clock. So at 7 p.m., which is what I'm showing you on the clock right now, I've got my little hand pointing at the 7. At 7 o'clock, Roger begun to read. It says, he reads for 1 hour. So for 1 hour, Roger reads his book. What time does he stop? Well, just like we learned in the last problem, when an hour passes, that means this hand goes all the way around this clock, and you notice the red hand moving. And now what time is it? I'll show you that one more time so you can see the red hand moving. Roger begun to read at 8 or at 7. 1 hour passed, so this hand goes all the way around the clock, back up to the number 12. Now what time is it? He started at 7, and in that hour, from here to here is 1 hour. So from 7, my red hand moved up to here, and now it's 8 o'clock. Roger started to read at 7, he finished at 8. So on that line, you are going to draw or write the number 8, and then they want you to draw this on that blank clock. Draw the tall hand pointing straight up at the 12, and draw the red hand pointing straight at the number 8. That shows us 8 o'clock. You can also figure it out. So we know that Roger started to read at 7. 1 hour is from 7, we said, to 8. Instead of having to look at a clock and move this around, if they tell you something happened an hour later, let's say it's 9 o'clock, 1 hour would be 10 o'clock, all you're doing is adding 1. So if Roger started to read at 7, 7 plus 1 more is 8. If he started to read at 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So if they tell you that 1 hour passed, you just have to add 1 to whatever time it is. If they tell you that 2 hours passed, you would add 2. So if you started to read at 1, it would be 1, 2, 3 when he finished. If he read for 2 hours. So when you're adding an hour, you're really just adding 1 to whatever time you currently have. So that is it for our math lesson today. You have a homework page here. Page 593, front and back, so 593 and 594. You do not need to rip it out. 593 and 594, you're doing the front and the back. Please have that done by Thursday because I'm going to start my lesson on Thursday by reviewing that for you guys. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. Talk to you soon. Bye.